Swami Swaroopananda talks about meeting Swami Vishnu-devananda. This is at the 50th year reunion of the Shivananda Yoga Camp. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Years before I met Swamiji, I was involved with the Divine Life Society to Swami Venkateshananda. I knew Swami Venkateshananda when I was a little child. And then I went to normal life and I heard about Swami Vishnu-devananda, and then one day I just finished high school and I went to a bookstore and I was looking at books about agricultural equipment, like tractors and stuff like this. And there was a shelf with all these books. So I saw something which looked interesting, and there were two also books. There was a book just at the back, small, and the color was red. I was attracted to that book. It was in the shelf about tractors. So I pushed my hands in without seeing, and I pulled it out, and it was the complete illustration of yoga by Swami Vishnu-devananda. And I read it and I was very impressed. And then years later, I was in the army, and I got one day for free, just one day, and I went home and I picked the newspaper and I opened the newspaper, and in the newspaper was written that that very day Swami Vishnu-devananda is going to give a lecture and a demonstration in my own city, in a particular place. It was a club of a band, and I was so happy and I felt so fortunate because I'm going to meet Swami Vishnu-devananda, with whom I was so impressed after I read the book. And so I went to that place, and I had only one day. I went to that place, very happy, very enthusiastic. And when I came, the doors were closed, it was dark, and there was no notice on the door. And I was very despondent. And I was walking in the middle of the street with hundreds of other people walking there. After 15 minutes walking like this, someone just tapped like this on my shoulder. And I was not a Swami, I was looking just like anybody else, hundreds and hundreds of people walking, but that person tapped on my shoulder. And I looked, never met this person, and he looks at me and he's asking me, "Are you looking for the yogi?" I was surprised. How does he know that I'm looking for the yogi? Do I have horns? How would he know such a thing? But anyway, I said, "Yes, I'm looking for the yogi." He said, "Well, they changed the address of the lecture." I looked, how does he know? There was nobody around me when I tried to get in. There was nobody there. And I asked him, "Where is the lecture?" And he told me. I went there, there were many, many people in that hall. But there was no stage, nothing like here. So I was looking around trying to figure out where is he going to sit, because there's so many people, but there was no place for the Swami. I was not sure where he's going to sit, because I was desiring to sit as close as possible to him, but I had no idea where is he going to sit. And then when I read the complete illustrated book of yoga, if you looked at the book, just from reading the book and looking at the pictures, you cannot get an idea of how Swami Vishnu-devananda will look years after. So I had an idea how he looks. I didn't know how tall or how short he is. I just knew him from the book. And then we all felt this energy like a tornado approaching. And there Swamiji arrived. But it was many years back, so he was short, of a dark complexion, and he was quite chubby. He was quite heavy, fat. And I was shocked, because he didn't look like the person in the complete illustrated book of yoga. But anyway, I was very happy that he came. And then he started to do things which surprised me. He didn't sit on a stage, he sat on a table. And so I said, okay, this is fine. And then he started to chant for about half an hour these South Indian mantras. And I didn't like it. And then he started to give a talk. And I didn't like the talk. So the external experience was not very pleasant. But mysteriously, I didn't like how he looks, I didn't like how he talks, I didn't like his mannerisms, I didn't like the talk, the content of the talk, none of this. But mysteriously, I liked him. And I couldn't figure it out because all my life I was a very logical person. I couldn't figure out why do I like him, because everything about him I didn't like, but I liked him. So this was strange. Anyway, because I could feel some power coming from him, and it was a power of truth. But I said, I was talking to myself, maybe he's a charlatan. I was not sure. Then at the end of the talk, he said that all the people can make one row, and they can come one by one and ask him questions. By that time, I was studying and practicing yoga for quite a few years. I think it was 15 years, 16 years, and I studied for years with Swami Vishnu-devananda and with others, good teachers. So I thought, I said, okay, I'm going to test it. This was the thought in my mind, just to see, is it for real? So also I was in that line. And then came my turn, and before I could open my mind, my mouth, he answered my question, but not verbally. He basically blew my mind, because not only I didn't ask him the question and he answered it, but the way he answered it blew my mind. So without talking, just saying anything, say, and then I started to ask the people, does Swamiji have any center? I would like to go to the center. He said, oh, very nice center, beautiful people. So I went to the center, very small center, very, very poor, and I liked it. And then when I finished the army, I went to study with him. At that time, he was residing at the yoga retreat in the Bahamas. So I went there and I took with him a TTC and ATTC. At that time, TTC and ATTC were 6 weeks, not 4 weeks. And the ATTC was the second ATTC in the organization at that time. Also at that time, there were many things going on there. Many psychic phenomena were going on at the yoga retreat. Puharitz was there, and Marcel Vogel was there, and everyone was there. Swami Swaroopananda, Swami Vishnu-devananda, many were there. Lots of things were going on there. And I desired to study with Swamiji, but I didn't see him, I go. And in reality, the way it went is that I studied very attentively, but I tried to keep away from him. And if he would walk this side, I would walk the other side. So we don't meet. Then one day, trying to evade him, I was walking, those of you that have been at the yoga retreat, I was walking the path, and Swamiji was in his hammock next to his house, and from far away he called me, come here. And so I came, and again he spoke with me a few words, and in spite of the fact that I didn't want him to be my guru, At that moment, there was a clear recognition that is my guru, as simple as this, and that was the end of it. And he also gave recognition to it. And then afterwards, many things happened. I wanted to stay with him, but then at the end of my stay in the Bahamas, he said, no, you have to go back to your country. So he sent me back, and he kept me there for 10 years. And he knew that I wanted to be with him, but he would not let me. Then after I got used to the place where I was, and I was very happy and content, then he just put me out of there. And he never let me go back. And then, so, I'm an example of someone who reluctantly recognized that Swamiji is my guru. After I recognized, it was over. But afterwards it was hard work, because his purpose was to break your ego. That was his purpose. And his purpose was to make you do what you don't like to do. So it was a long process. But from my point of view, he fulfilled all his promises. Everything he promised, he fulfilled. And once I recognized him as my guru, I stayed with him. There were periods which were very difficult, but difficult externally, not internally, but externally. But I knew him, he's my guru. And I have exactly the same view. Even with the Hatha Yoga, those that know me are aware of it, that the last thing in the world that I desired was to become a Hatha Yoga guinea pig. But he made me. And the last thing in the world that I desired was to teach the sadhana intensive, but he made me. Or to be trained heavily in Hatha Yoga, but he forced me. Today I am profoundly thankful to him, and so many things. So Swamiji was very special, and so this is the story. Yeah.
So we thank Swamiji for sharing his beautiful words with us.